Hi, this is Chris from the Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from Political Voices Network.
So what is going to happen? Obviously, they're saying that Trump and his sons will likely plead the fifth. Is that what? Take us through this whole thing.
That's great. I wish that was on camera. Look, I mean, the judge a little over a week ago on one of the key issues already decided as a matter of law that Trump had repeatedly committed fraud. And that was one of the counts that the AG, Attorney General Tish James, in her case had. So, there are six other counts to deal with.
Yeah.
But this is really about damages and about a penalty. Tish James is seeking up to $250 million in damages and essentially banning Trump for 5 years from doing any business in New York and ending his corporation's life. Like the corporation itself would be a death knell.
Yeah.
So Trump Corporation in New York would not exist and the assets would go to a receiver. And Trump still owns them, but they could be sold off and get the proceeds. He can sell companies other places. So this is really about how much pain is going to be inflicted on Donald Trump.
It's about disgorgement, which sounds dirty, but it's not. It's about... but,
I've never heard it explained that way. Yeah. But it is disgorgement versus restitution. The judge talked about that because people are going to hear Trump people go, well, the banks didn't get hurt. Well, that's not what this is about. That's restitution. If you're wronged, if you suffer the damages, you get it from a judge and they'll give you restitution. The judge, in his opinion, makes a great point. Disgorgement is to deter others from doing the same thing.
But
essentially, fraudulently filling out bank statements. You can't do that.
Well, but so what? Basically, I'm reading the legal analysis. The clear facts in the case have already been decided. The judge has found them liable. This is just about how much in damages they owe, right? But in terms of taking the 15, talk to us about that. Nick Ackerman, the legal lad, said, keep in mind this is a civil case. It's not like a criminal case where the government can't call the defendant to the witness stand. In the civil case, you can use the assertion of the Fifth Amendment privilege as an adverse inference as against the person that asserts that privilege. So I would expect absolutely the AG is going to call all those witnesses, right? Meaning so that they have it on record that they're taking the fifth.
Right, they have Trump, they already deposed Donald Trump. So if they chose not to call him and just show video clips of his deposition, then they could do that. That's one part. They could call him and just let him go off and cite the Fifth Amendment over and over. And I really wish there were cameras in the courtroom, because how stunning would that be for America to see Donald Trump invoke the Fifth Amendment against self-incrimination.
And then you and I we can both play that montage of him saying only mobsters take the fifth, and you only take the fifth when you're guilty. So we can just play that.
Exactly. But he still even though it's not a criminal trial, you still have the right against incriminating yourself in a civil case. Anything you say in the civil case, Jack Smith or Fannie Willis can use against him in the criminal trials. Or Alvin Bragg, who's right down the hall, Manhattan DA in the hush money crime case. So anything you say can be used against you. It doesn't have to be in that exact case, anywhere. So that's why he could invoke the Fifth Amendment.
The other enticing thing is David K. Johnson, the Trump biographer, said if former first daughter Ivanka is made to take the stand and she testifies in a way that injures her father in any way, his lawyers will put her in a world of hurt. He said, I would expect Donald and his sons and likely Ivanka called to take the Fifth Amendment. If, however, Ivanka testifies in any way that's damaging to her father or her brother's interests, Donald's lawyers are going to rip her to shreds and do everything they can to go after her. That's just fun.
There's the fun part. And again, wouldn't that be great if that's on camera? So look, Ivanka's going to testify. Is she going to commit perjury and expose herself to criminal liability for her dad? Or is she going to testify truthfully? And don't forget, they have her deposition. So if she starts changing her story, they bring it they confront her. It's a judge. It's not even a jury. The judge is going to see through the BS. And the judge is going to press her to tell the truth. So will they go after her? Of course they will.
So, by the way, speaking of threatening the judge in the middle of the night, hours before this started, you tweeted in the past week, Trump has pledged if he wins to shut down media outlets critical of him, vowed to have police officers shoot and kill shoplifters on the spot with no trial, threatened General Mark Milley with the death penalty. This is not a drill. This is fascism. And I agree with you, Dina. I just don't feel like the media seems to be prepared for this moment.
No, because they're too busy covering Donald Trump's motorcade from Trump Tower down to the courthouse. Has anyone ever seen the corporate media cover President Biden's motorcade to give it a big speech? The media is covering Trump today more than President Biden's speech Thursday about the threat to our democracy Trump and MAGA pose. That was an important speech. And it got some coverage live during the day, but that's about it. So look, this is right now, Donald Trump, right before he walked to the courtroom, outside of the courtroom, where Tish James, the AG, is sitting in, and the judge is there, Donald Trump is smearing the judge and smearing A.G. James. And the judge and A.G. James have thick skins, but they have to enter a gag order. The judge has to protect the integrity of the system. We can't say that it's okay to smear judges and attorney generals or prosecutors with lies right in the courtroom hallway, and then that's an okay way to deal with our justice system. No, that undermines the entire system, especially in the eyes of MAGA. And that's truly dangerous. So there needs to be a gag order. I know Judge Chutkan is going to rule, I believe, in about a week and a half in the federal case. Jack Smith is citing threats against Mark Milley as well in the new filing. So there needs to be a gag order against Donald Trump. Absolutely. It narrowly tailored, not silence everything, but no talking about the judges, prosecutors, or witnesses. Can't talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like he has possibly, hang on a second here. Where is it? Hold please. Uh-oh. He has, with the wrong Marine in terms of General Milley. But because General Milley said, he is taking appropriate measures to ensure his safety and that of his family after Trump's threat of execution. But, you make the important point, as does Jack Smith. It's not just because he's the chairman of the Joint State. It's because he's a witness. And also, Brad Raffensperger, he has specifically threatened witnesses. Just talk about that legally for a minute. Isn't that the definition of obstruction?
Look, the judge, if a normal defendant, there's no even a debate. The judge is entering a gag order, and I'm tired of this special privilege for Donald Trump. That's what's going on, Steph. You hear it all the time. Anyone else, they would have done this. But what you're telling us is Trump is getting special privilege and special treatment. He doesn't deserve it. The man attempted a coup and incited a terrorist attack on our Capitol and has pledged to pardon the terrorists who attacked our Capitol. He deserves no special treatment. He deserves to be in custody right now until his trial. He's charged with 32 counts of espionage. Nowhere in the history of this country can you find a defendant charged with 32 counts of espionage, and that's what Trump's charged with violating, walking around freely. It doesn't happen. It is disgusting. It undermines confidence in the system. Trump should be in a prison cell now. He can do campaign things. And look, he'll be convicted. He could be president in prison. They'll have state dinners in the commissary. He can still do that. It's unfortunate, strip searching, the president of France coming through for the dinner.
Dean, one of the most disgusting sound bites we played is the one we played earlier. I don't know if you heard Trump joking this weekend about Paul Pelosi. How's your husband doing, by the way? I guess the wall didn't work around their house. I mean, this is a MAGA guy that believed his election lies, that was trying to assassinate the Speaker of the House, which is what they were trying to do on January 6th, who wasn't home and almost bludgeoned her husband to death. And it's like, so this is
82 years old.
Yeah. And when you talk about MAGA, I mean, that's sort of the bigger problem. You said Trump calls for police to immediately shoot and kill shoplifters. MAGA crowd goes wild cheering. Trump is priming his base for more deadly violence. This is what a fascist movement looks like. I mean, that is the disturbing thing, is hearing the cheering.
Exactly, because Trump can say anything. It's the reaction by our fellow Americans and Republican leaders that tell so much. At the speech in your state on Friday, Donald Trump talked about people running into stores and shoplifting. Yeah. And he goes, what they should be doing, he screams out, shot, and the place goes crazy. So Trump is saying the Constitution doesn't apply. Yeah. You have no right to due process. You should be executed on the allegation of being shoplifted. This is not people on the border, which is already vile. This is about American citizens killing them, and the base cheered, and they laughed at Paul Pelosi. MAGA is irredeemable. It is a vile fascist movement. And if Donald Trump gets in office, Steph, I get emails now from Trumpers not threatening me with anything now, but telling me, wait till Trump gets in, see what we're going to do then. They are going to enforce what Trump wants. They're going to come after you, Steph, and me, and many of us. It won't be Trump coming after Jim Obeidallah. He doesn't know me. It's
I think in the liberal gulag, the Muslim section will be right next to the lesbians. So I feel like we'll be able to talk through the bars.
We'll have like an open mic night on Tuesdays. It's going to be kind of fun. Yeah. Tell some jokes, maybe sing some songs. Yeah. I'm going to be the funniest guy in the camp. That's my goal. Or at least the second. If Fugelsang's in there, I'll be second funniest.
I get funniest girl. Okay. Yeah, you said anyone advocating ignoring or appeasing Trump. I urge you to read how that worked out for the world when the same was tried with Hitler in the 1930s. The only options when confronted with fascism are 1, submit, or 2, fight. I choose option 2, and I pray you do as well. And I just think we can't say enough. This is not hyperbole.
Yeah, this is really academically fascism. It's not me saying it's based on academics from Madeleine Albright's book about fascism, a warning, Timothy Snyder, in the books like How Democracies Die by Stephen Levitsky and a co-writer. They talk about what fascism is apart from Trump. And then it applies perfectly. And violence is a crucial element of all fascist movements.
Yeah.
The threat of violence, to acquire power, retain power, that's what Trump's doing. He's getting his base primed for a moment when I'm going to need you to commit violence. And he won't say, go get them. He'll just talk about the threat they are, and they know what to do. His base knows what to do.
So let's talk about what just happened, because I keep saying, they're just a defense team for Trump, I guess. They are terrorists, the actual ones, as I always say, in January 6th, economic terrorists. They almost tried to shut the government down. You said, let's not forget, nearly half the House GOP caucus voted today to shut down the government. The shutdown was avoided only because of 209 House Democrats who voted to fund the government. But they do this every time, and it's exhausting, isn't it?
It is, and we have to save because people are going to suffer. So Democrats do the right thing, and I'm glad. I'm a Democrat. I'm proud when they do the right thing. And in this case, you had to do the right thing. Millions of workers were going to not get paychecks, and members of the military, TSA workers, and the list goes on. It could have affected beneficiaries for food stamps and WIC as time went on. So look, they did the right thing. I just want them to make this a big part of 2024. We're here to govern.
Yeah.
We're here to shut things down and to serve Donald Trump. And the media missed Donald Trump a week and a half ago in writing, called for them to shut down the government unless they defunded the prosecution of them. And, Matt Gaetz and the hard right was doing that for him. And there's no doubt in my mind. There was nothing they were going to compromise on. They were there for Trump. They were going to shut down the government because in his twisted mind, he thinks a government shutdown is going to stop the DOJ. It's not. They're already funded. That's not the issue.
I mean, we were saying, too, the big difference in the parties is many prominent Democrats, have called for your home state Senator Menendez to step down because both sides don't do it. It is not, but that's, and I was just this Jamal Bowman pulling a fire alarm thing is another perfect example. I don't know why he did it. He shouldn't have done it. He should be, there should be punishment, I guess, for it. But it's like they literally are Marjorie Taylor Greene encouraged her followers to demand Bowman be arrested and prosecuted by the DOJ, exactly the same as the January 6th defendants. 2 other Republicans penned a resolution to have him expelled from Congress or censured. I'm like, oh my God, they literally compared it exactly to the January 6th, in which people were killed and police officers were beaten to some stupid prank that I don't really even understand.
Well, one big thing with Congressman Bowman is that the building he pulled the fire alarm in was the Cannon office building, not the U.S. Capitol. The U.S. Capitol is across the street and a Forest Street. The alarms don't go off in the Capitol. If you're trying to delay the vote, you don't pull the fire alarm in the Cannon office building where about a third to half of the members of the House are. That's just their offices. It's not the Capitol. Yeah. So first of all, it doesn't apply at all. Why he did it, I mean, he said he made a mistake. The doors were locked. It was a weekend. He thought he could open the door by pulling it. It wasn't an intentional effort to prevent Congress from doing their job. That's what January 6th terrorists were about. I wish Republicans were half as angry, the January 6th terrorists, as they are with Jamal Bowman. We'd be a better country for it. Instead, so is Marjorie Taylor Greene going to go visit Jamal Bowman if he's in jail?
Yeah.
Like she has the January 6th terrorists. Where's the Jamal Bowman being treated unfairly? All he did was pull a fire alarm. This is just remarkable.
I know. Dean Obeidallah, you have a fantastic show right here on Sirius XM, the Team Progress, the best team, Channel 127. And I highly recommend it. And
thank you. And I also recommend your show very, very highly as well. All of you. I'm really proud of everyone on our channel. They're great.
I know.
Absolutely.
The best team, as I said. And you are one of our fantastic legal lads. And we thank you. I always say we forget that you're a legal lad because you're so funny. But, you're both.
I'm not as funny. I'm more legal now. So you can tell how my legal acumen's gotten better. I'm dreaming to be senior legal correspondent for Stephanie Miller. But you've got Glenn Kirschner. So, okay, I'll be junior.
You have a little legal hat, and then you have a little jingly clown hat with little jingly balls on it. Yeah, so you're just...
Tell Glenn we should open a law firm, Kirschner and Obeidallah. He can go first. Yes! Do commercials on TV. Have you been hurt in an accident at work? Call us, Kirschner and Obeidallah.
You give and you give. Even top billing. There it is, my first drink of the day, Z-Biotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic. Many of you know my story. I stopped drinking wine for 3 years during COVID, during the lockdown as part of a health reset. Now I drink wine in moderation, But this is an amazing new product. I've always believed in probiotics. And Z-Biotics, check this out. You drink just one of these. It's the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. I am using this and I feel great in the morning. I don't have to worry if I have an extra glass of wine, I still feel great in the morning. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. I've always had acid reflux problems. It is this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Z-Biotics produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. All I know is it works. It is Z-Biotics pre-alcohol probiotic. Go to zbiotics.com/politicalvoices or scan the QR code on the screen right now.